Welcome back to the Cerebral Palsy Perspective. I'm Chad Williams, here with my co-host, Daryl Perry.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to talk, talked over you. Um, Today we want to talk about finding your way into fitness with CP, something that we've both had to work through. There's some challenges with that. Movement and fitness looks different for everyone. Especially, most likely if you have CP, you have to do things a little bit differently, and that's okay. You don't have to move like everyone else. You just have to find a way to move that works for you. And I think through all the different times I've gone to the gym and the different things I've worked through, I think one of the biggest issues or the biggest barriers, it's not ability or inability, it's the intimidation factor. I think gyms are intimidating. Signing up for a race, putting yourself out there in front of a new group of people, that can be intimidating. You can feel like maybe you don't belong, and it's also natural to compare yourself to others, even though that's not something that I think we're all guilty of that. And then just being in an environment where you don't see other people that might look like you, and so there's a lot of different things there that can make it difficult. But as far as your fitness journey, Daryl, what did the fitness world look like for you when you tried to get started, and how did you feel?
I felt, anytime I've approached something new, I actually feel like this is the downside or the darker side of doing hard things our way, doing hard things my way, because just like you said, you're comparing yourself to other people. I know going in, the way I do this is not going to look like the way anybody else does it. They will say in a lot of instances, well, just go to the gym, do your thing. Nobody's paying attention to you. The unfortunate thing is, for a lot of us, when we do stick out in the situation, people are, even if it's just for a moment, looking over and seeing what we're doing, even if they're going to end up being the most supportive, encouraging people, which I do think in general, most people are supportive, but it's been tough. I mean, I've, as far as what I've done, even, going back when I started at the gym when I was a teenager at the recommendation of an orthopedic I was working with, the program was structured well. I was naturally curious about it, but I was in a completely different environment with people that did not have disabilities. And I'm trying to do the thing, trying to figure out how to actually do this stuff. And I don't know that it ever really 100% goes away every time you start something new. Eventually I got comfortable at the gym. Eventually I got comfortable doing different types of workouts when I graduated away from machines into like more free weights and stability type things there. Running for enjoyment was challenging, but then like when I joined a running group that I actually going into this was like, oh yeah, I ran in college and I've done group fitness instruction. I can totally lead a group. When I was talking to the group of Couch to 5K people the first time, like I've got their eyes on me, and I felt like there had to be some of them were like, this guy's going to lead us in running. Can he even run himself? So I think those feelings are there. I think if you hang in with it and can actually kind of navigate that stuff and put it into perspective, fitness has been one of the most rewarding things for me. Yes, because of, most importantly, because of like longevity and quality of life. But I mean, so many connections and friendships have come out of, these activities and doing these things. And I think that's something also a lot of us in the CP community struggle with social interaction and making friends and all that. So I think there's a lot of really good things, but it's tough. It was tough for me in the beginning.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I still remember when looking back when my orthopedic, I went to the specialist and he had said like, you either got to go back to PT or you got to go to the gym to have any quality of life. And I knew that I wanted to go to the gym, but I still remember what it felt like when I had to walk in to that gym. Like working out. I'm going to be trying to do all these things, and this gym is full of people. And so there's a lot of discomfort there. And I'll say, unfortunately, even when I continued for years, my buddy that I talked about before that helped me get ready for the Spartan, him and I had a great relationship. So like when he was training me one-on-one, I was able to work through all that. But he was also a group trainer. And I still had, even in the later phases, had trouble with like, okay, we're going to split up in like these relay type situations, like these group relay situations. They were so uncomfortable, even, today. It's a hard thing. And they were all friends. They were familiar with my situation at this point, and my trainer was a great guy, but even being in that situation was tough. But I think when you do find that group of people, the right supportive people, it makes it a lot less scary. I still had those insecurities in front of the group, but had it not been a great group of people that I, trusted and felt supported by, I wouldn't have been able to get out there at all. So just because I was able to get out there doesn't mean like all that discomfort was gone. It was still uncomfortable, but like you said, I don't think that ever goes away.
It doesn't. And what I will say, because all of those feelings, they're very familiar. They don't necessarily go away. I will say, if you're in a fitness environment and you take on any type of leadership within the group, and it doesn't have to be a formal title, it could literally be friends getting together to do an activity and you kind of take the reins. There is power in people like us having the confidence, which at first is probably manufactured, in actually like stepping up, standing up and saying, okay, here's how we're going to do things. This is what the activity is going to be. And like asserting yourself but inside, like at first, at least for me, I was terrified the first few times that I did that. But then like it just started to become natural, and I started to kind of seek that stuff out when appropriate. So like if again, like when I got in front of the group of runners, of Couch to 5K people for the first time, I was nervous. But when I was sitting there in a planning meeting as part of the group, and I raised my hand to be a leader, and I got I do remember getting a couple looks when we were sitting in that planning thing. But I mean, I asserted myself and I took the reins. And because one thing, I think something that is easy that would be, I think people would understand, but I think some of us as individuals, if we really thought about it, wouldn't be as okay with it. We could take part in some activity and kind of be off on our own and doing our own thing. Because honestly, if you've got a group of runners, if you've got a fitness trainer there, I mean, while they want you to be a part of it, they might look at it. And if you're kind of just doing your own thing while the group is doing what they're doing, they might kind of look at it and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm glad that he or she is involved, but I don't necessarily know how to help them. Let them do their thing. If you actually immerse yourself into the situation, I think one, it's going to be a better experience from a fitness standpoint. And we all have, I think we've all made mistakes or missteps. I've fallen in front of people, I don't even know how many times. But I think once you're accepted and part of the group, and you force yourself into that, I think it's a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And I think that's sort of how running ended up for me. I mentioned the discomfort at the gym, but like,
yeah,
through my training, when I decided that I'm going to give this running thing a try, because when I'm out there running by myself, that I found so much benefit to it. signing up for that first 5K, I was terrified. I didn't know like how are these people going to go? And specifically the running community has been so incredibly supportive. Like that's what's kept me to continue signing up for these races, because like I'll be out there running and there'll be people that'll like it's kind of like what Zach talked about a couple weeks ago. You're running, there's people that are cheering you on as you're running by, and you're cheering for other people's. I've been out there and seen like a gentleman or a woman that's like 80 like running by, and everybody stops to like clap and cheer and tell her to keep going, and they did the same for me, and I've done that for others. And I think it was a hard thing to take that first step, but once I found that support, it's been incredible, and it's allowed me to continue to run. And we're talking about the gym and running and encouraging movement, but I think one of the biggest things that people should understand is like it doesn't have to look a certain way to count. It doesn't have to just be these workouts at the gym or these runs. I mean, we've talked about stretching at home or going on walks. We've talked offline a little bit about home workouts like DDP yoga,
Yeah.
even physical therapy or running. There's all these different ways that you can move, and it can be so beneficial to yourself. And I think that's the message, is like find a way to incorporate some movement that works for you. And finding the right people can help, supportive friends or supportive groups. There's so many different run clubs or different groups out there, but like it's a combination of finding supportive people and also finding what works for you. And it's okay that it's different. It's going to look different. You just have to find your space, whatever that looks like.
I think it's definitely two things that you just touched on, and they're both equally as important. One, however you move, whatever being active looks like for you, wherever it is, whether it's in a public space or if you're doing stuff at home, or what I think most of us end up doing that are out doing this stuff in public, we still have our entire regimens that we got to do at home just to keep things functioning. That is a very important part. Swimming has always been an activity, or just getting into the water of a pool. I've talked to a lot of folks with CP about, and that's been like their favorite activity. Some are doing actual laps, some are doing more kind of almost like water aerobics type things. However you move your body and it's most comfortable for you, I think is really important. I also do think the social component that we touched on was really important, but I also, because I've experienced this too when I finish races, and honestly, this is I think this is really what pulls me back into wanting to do the 5Ks and the distances, is that feeling when you're locked in on the rate, you see the finish line and you are coming around the parade of people, the exact feeling. Because in that moment, for me, and I think you've described something similar, I just like you feel like you've won, like you're winning. You and your body are working in tandem. You're doing this and people are cheering you on. What's that? You're smiling at this, like this
because absolutely. And I think it's a hard one for me, because I know exactly what you mean, and it's a special feeling. It's not just that race, it's all of it. It's the work that you had to put in to get to that point, because most people aren't going to just sign up for a 5K and run it the next day. Like, you're going to have some sort of training.
Yeah.
And that training's not going to be smooth to the race. There's ups and downs. You're going to have to work through. You're going to have to work through injuries and muscle tightness and all fatigue and all the different stuff to get there, which I'm working through a foot injury now that I've been working through. But there's all the little ups and downs that you work through to get there. And then when you get to that moment where you're coming down the main stretch to finish, it's that whole thing. It's the excitement of the moment, and it's the pride in the work that you put in. And and the steps that you took to sign up, because it does take, you know, a level of courage to sign up for that race and to put yourself out there. It's all those things, and then it's that feeling like I did it.
Yeah.
So I know that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me to, you know, that feeling, you know, continue to race. You're showing up for yourself, but in doing that, you're also getting this great experience with community and these other runners, and there's a lot of pride in that. And I think that's a great thing. And if there are people out there that are thinking about, you know, they're hearing this and they want to, you know, experience that or be part of that, I would say, like, start small and start slow. Find a supportive environment. Sign up for something, like sign up for a 5K or sign up for a walking group, or join a run club, and just put that goal out there and tell people about it. Share your goal with your friends and your family, so you have people that know and they can begin to support you. And I would say don't wait until you're ready either, because I don't think you're ever going to have a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready. It's that discomfort is always going to be there when you have these challenges that you got to work through. So like, it's never going to feel like the perfect time. So like, take the steps to sign up and then start small, whatever that looks like. And you know, running for me, it started as an exercise. Like, okay, I'm going to run. It's going to help me be fit. It's going to help me show up for myself as I was working through that hard moment. But like, it helped me with so many other things. It helped me with confidence, and it helped me deal with stress. It helped me deal with grief. I've been able to set goals and meet all these incredible people. That all came from like being willing to take that first step. And so that's what I would say is really important, is like, just get started, to do the thing, sign up and tell everybody about it, and then start slow, and you'll get to experience, you know, what you just described and what I just described. It's special, but obviously in order to do that, you've got to find a place to start.
There are so many types of, you know, running is a very welcoming community. But there's all types of environments. There are adaptive group fitness classes, there's adaptive yoga, there's all, I mean, you name it. Once you take action on one activity, I think once you get past that initial fear, because again, the fear doesn't go away, but it is very intense the first time that you try to step out and do this. And I'm with you on sharing what you're working on. I've seen some stuff posted, and this isn't just in the disabled community, of, oh, keep your goals to yourself and work in silence and move in silence. And I've never, that's very, I think we've got way too much isolation in general in today's world anyway. So I'm definitely, be open about it, tell your friends about it, connect with people, and just it's part of the experience. Part of it is celebrating and experiencing things with people. So yeah, but I'm totally
I've seen those exact posts, or not maybe that exact post, but I've seen that message put out there to like, work in silence. And I totally disagree. I think you should, you know, if you have the right people around you, you're going to share it with those people. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be happy for you. If they're the right kinds of people, they're going to be happy for you. They're going to support you. And that's going to help you, like, moving forward. When you have those feelings of discomfort, or maybe you're questioning, or you're not believing in like, I can't do this. Well, hopefully you have people around you that can get in your ear and say, yes, you can. And they can, you know, propel you forward. And you don't start something because you're confident about it. You become confident because you started. And that's how racing was for me. Like, I didn't believe I could do that stuff. And now I've run dozens of races, and I continue to do that, and it's helped my confidence because I took those steps. And so I think you should absolutely put it out there and share it, and look for all the support, and just get the most out of the whole experience.
Absolutely. And it's funny, it made me just think of this. The worst thing that will ever happen is nothing really at all. Because I remember you mentioned DDPY. You and I have been talking about you getting started on DDPY for like 6 months. A couple weeks ago, because with an injury that I had, I didn't get to finish the program. I was about halfway through the one that I was doing last year. So I was like, we'll do this. We'll talk about it on the podcast. It'll be great. And then, so I still have my subscription, and I was going to start this program, and I'm going through the calendar, and I've got it organized, and I've got all these other workouts that I do. And I told you, I'm like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then I looked at the workload, and I looked at all my other workouts, and I was trying to like want to do this after a couple of days, and I kept moving the workouts, and I'm like, you know what, man, it's not the thing for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst thing. You put it out there, and then if it ends up being like it's not the direction you're going to go in, or you bite off more than you can chew, you can always deal with that. You just make adjustments and you keep moving forward. And I think, that kind of goes off into another topic, which is like, the more you put yourself out there and the more you try to challenge yourself, this is fitness, but this can be beyond fitness. You're not going to hit home runs every time, but you got to take some swings. And the more swings you take, all you got to do is hit a couple home runs, and you've got a completely different life. So bet on yourself, absolutely. Trust yourself, you'll figure it out. So.
Yeah. I'm still on the edge of DDP yoga, and I don't know, maybe there are some listeners that have tried it or have some experience with it. I have a torn labrum. I've talked about it a few times. So I have a torn labrum in my hip, and I see all the incredible things that he's done for so many different people. And the program really does seem like it's a good program for all different levels and abilities, and kind of start where you are. But I am so nervous to sort of disrupt that hip, because I'm in a space right now where it's quiet and it's cooperating, and I'm able to continue running, and I want to try these new things, but I also don't want to upset where I am. So that's kind of got me being sort of hesitant with the DDP yoga, but I'm continuing to research that.
I think in that instance, what you just said is absolutely correct. You've got these, like, running is I would say over everything, you love running more than anything else that you do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you do stretching and mobility and that type of stuff now. And it's like, if it's working for you, it's working for you. I'm in some of the DDPY books or groups on Facebook, and they are very supportive. There are people that show up and do those every single day. But I will say, at the same token, like, you always have to, this is something to consider when you get involved with fitness communities. You have to consider what's best for you. And while in some instances, and everybody's well-meaning, so we're not even saying anything other than that. But like, sometimes you got to pay attention to the energy of the group or the community, because you don't want to be pushed in a direction that gets you out of your groove. And in your case, aggravating your hip, we've talked about your hip quite a few times. We'll talk about it quite a few more times. It's not something you want to do. So if that's the case, I would continue to do what you're doing. And then if you're like, I really want to try this. I mean, again, us of a certain age, guys of our age love Diamond Dallas Page. We all do. We grew up with it. Diamond cutter, bang. We all got it. But, and what he does is incredible, but like, it's like, does it fit what you need right now? When I started the program, it was exactly what I needed. I wanted to do some more flexibility work. I wanted to work on balance, and I could start in a chair. but it just now with kind of the way that I'm doing things, it was going to be at best kind of a nice to have because of all the other stuff that I'm doing. And if it disrupts all the stuff that you're doing, it's not the right time, or it may never even be the right fit for you. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that really just fits with the overall message is, you don't have to move like anyone else. You just have to find the way that works for you. And that's what I think we're trying to encourage here is find a way to be active and find a way to get movement, however that looks for you. And so hopefully, this was helpful. And I always ask, like, let's send us comments or when you watch this back, if there's things that you're doing or things that you want us to talk about, we'd love to hear it. But I'd love to see some interaction as well. Like, what are some different things that you're doing to get movement or to show up for yourself? What does that look like? If anybody that wants to share, we'd love to see that in the comments too.
yeah, just let us know. We're here. We want, I mean, this podcast is a living, breathing, evolving thing, and how you guys contribute to it, that helps us, shape these shows when we're planning things out. So, yeah, so definitely, let us know what you're doing. However, it's funny because people figure out ways to reach us, and it's always like different ways. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we know you're going to find us. Just whatever works best for you, let us know, and we'll figure it out. So,
All right. Until next time.
we'll talk to you guys then.